Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi Grace, author of 10 young adult novels so far, 8 of which I'm rewriting this year. Welcome to vlog 17 of that adventure. We are trying to think, it's been a day or two since I've written. I want to say like 30,000 words into the story, maybe 35, not sure, I'll double check. If this is your first video with me, I am currently rewriting my Robin Hood series that I had written and published years ago. I'm rewriting them, bringing them under the pen name that I write under now. So that's what's happening. We're in book 3 right now. It's about a girl named Dusty from Palestine who is actually on her way to England now, I think was the last thing I wrote. She got caught up with Robin Hood and disasters will ensue. I am working through the scenes right before my crew gets thrown in prison, and I'm trying to, because it's a companion novel to the rest of the Robin Hood series, I'm trying to come up with different scenes that weren't in Much's book. So like the same events are happening, but I need to figure out like what's relevant to Dusty's story. So that's what I'm doing. I am about to throw my characters in prison for a year. Yeah, well I haven't, it's the same characters. Listen, there's 5 companion novels, and in 4 of them you're with characters that get thrown into prison. So you get the same story. It's just listen. Yes. I am throwing them into prison again. They're gonna have to do it with the next book as well, and then they'll be fine. Anyway, yes, we're doing that, and I'm still working through trying to figure out what scenes would be more relevant and interesting for Dusty's character versus the scenes of being in prison in Much's book. So I'm playing around with that. Yeah, she's the only female, so I don't know how that will interact with her story, but she's stuck with these dudes for a year, so I feel like that would play into it. I don't even know. I've been writing and Dusty's doing things. I'm about to throw everyone in prison, and actually I sort of threw them in prison this afternoon. And then yeah, at this point I'm just like trying to figure out what is relevant and interesting to Dusty's experience being in prison for a year versus like when Much was going through the exact same experience. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing to try and make scenes and like story progression that's relevant to Dusty versus Much's book. That's been interesting. We're just gonna sit here in prison for a while. Hi. I know. What am I doing here? Hi. I feel like a celebrity this morning. Everyone's like, oh hey! I'd like to say that I, actually got up to my alarm this time and was like, I'm doing this, but what really happened is that I just woke up at 4:30 and was wide awake, so here we are. I am at a place where all of my characters are in prison together, and it's an interesting experience for them. One in particular, because she's the only female and she's stuck in a cell with these 4 dudes. So yeah, I'm just working through all of the fascinating things that Dusty has to deal with being locked in a cell with these men. So I mean, nothing terrible because they're her friends, so it's not going dark, but like yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I have been writing this week. Haven't really been talking to the camera specifically, partially because my life is chaos. I don't know if you can tell from like all of this, but my life, I'm a walking disaster. Also, my camera just died. Also, I'm sort of sick, like I have this nose situation happening. Also, the children are crazy. It's been a week. Have I been writing? Yes, quite a lot actually. I'm catching up. I think I'm like right at where I'm supposed to be to hit 50K by Saturday, so that's good. I got up for the 6 a.m. prickle this morning, not on purpose. I woke up at 4:30 and was just wide awake, so I just got up and went about my day. So yes, I ended up on the 6 a.m. prickle. I only wrote like 600-ish words, but I can't stay on the 6 a.m. prickle for the full hour. I only get about 30 minutes. So, yeah, it was probably fine. I don't know what I'm going to write today specifically, because children aren't napping, can you tell? Okay, it's a new writing day. After I talked to you yesterday, I got on a prickle, but didn't actually write on that specific prickle, but I wrote again last night. And got to the escape scene. So that's where we're starting up today. I've got my hedgy nails and my T-Rex shirt. Get it. So I'm gonna light my candle, get my drinks, get set up, and go to a prickle. I don't know if I've mentioned yet on this vlog, so I'll explain it now. My writing group has a hedgehog theme, and a gathering of hedgies is called a prickle, so when we gather together to write, we call it a prickle. The Misty Mountains, which I have been using, whoa, hello, has given up the ghost. This is my stack now of all the jars that I've used, but I need to, you know, clean out so that I can continue to use them for something else. I might make that a video at some point. I tried with the first one with Rivendell, found a reel on Instagram that explained a way to do it. This is what happened. It's disgusting. So, we're gonna do some more research into that and try again at a later date. I'll discuss that in that video. But for now, we need to pick a new theme for the rest of Dusty. Choices, choices, choices. Okay, we're gonna go with Gateshead Hall. Oh my gosh, I just took the lid off. That is such a good smell. I don't remember this one being like my favorite or anything, but that is a really good smell. By the way, I had stopped putting my candles on my bookshelf a while ago for a brief period of time because this, without me even noticing, had gotten just black with soot and smoke debris and stuff, and one day I looked up and was like, why is my white shelf black? So I cleaned it off, and then after I cleaned it, I was, you know, briefly afraid to put candles here again for like 3 or 4 days, and then I got over it, and here we are again. After these 2 weeks of sickness, I think we have made it back on the writing train, ladies and gentlemen. Just in time, too, because this is the end of Camp NaNo. We have about 4,500 words to write in the next 3 days. That will be easy. That will not, mind you, get me to the end of Dusty's book. It will just get me to the first 50K of the story. I'm expecting the book to be around 130K. I, at the beginning, was thinking it would be more like 150 because the original version is slightly bigger than the original version of Much. And Much's book, the new version, was 130, so I thought this one might be slightly bigger than that. However, last night I was writing the escape scene, and incidentally, the escape scene in Much's book is about at page 102, and in last night's endeavor in Dusty's book, it was page 97. So, we're actually smaller than Much's book right now, and I expect this book to end in the middle of the Sherwood shenanigans, not at the end of them, which is also going to cut things off that were in Much's book. So, I'm actually now expecting this book to be either the same size or smaller than Much's book, not bigger. I don't expect it to grow bigger. Who knew Much's book was going to be the biggest in the series, man? Currently, they're sitting, like, almost the exact same size, with this one being, like, 4,000 or 5,000 bigger. I don't remember the exact count right now, but they're both in the 60s. And yeah, I think this one's fairly similar too. I mean, judging by looks, it would seem that way. This one will probably continue to be the biggest in the series. I dread to think what it will look like once I actually potentially double it in size. This could be interesting. This could be interesting. This one's my favorite, just in case anyone wonders, you know. I've come across the part in the story where they escape from prison and then just, you know, easily waltz their way to England with no trouble whatsoever, despite the fact that they are malnourished and weak and have no money and no weapons and no friends. So, for this paragraph that gets them to Dover, I am ignoring Dusty's, you know, paragraph, and I'm actually working off of the new version of Much's book, where I have a, you know, full chapter of them working their way back to England and the various trials along the way. I am about at the midpoint of my story. Dusty, my main character, just arrived in England. So we're gearing up for the Sherwood shenanigans now from her perspective, but I think her book is going to be less focused on the actual, like, Robin Hood adventures and more just focused on her relationships with people, because her whole, like, internal story is that the book opens when her family is murdered, and then she completely shuts down and, like, doesn't let people in, and also she, like, changes her identity and cuts off her hair and pretends to be a boy, and is, like, hiding from herself as well as from everyone else. So I think now that we're in Sherwood, it's just going to be about her opening up to the people who become her friends and the guy that she ends up marrying. And I mean, obviously the events will be happening around that, but yeah, I think the story is actually going to end before the Sherwood adventures are technically over, because I feel like the story will end, like, you know, once she starts to open up, and then we can stop there. We don't have to keep going afterwards. So I'm not actually sure if this is the midpoint of my story, I guess is what I'm saying, because I'm not sure how far the story is going. So I don't know if what I'm writing today is going to be the midpoint or not, which is making me question how I'm shaping the scenes. But for now, I'm writing it as a midpoint, and we'll fix it later. I am on chapter 18, I think, in the new version, and I'm writing out of chapter 7 in the old version. So we're still, like, expanding. I don't think anything has been as big as chapter 1, which 6 whole chapters. Probably more when I go back to edit, because honestly, they were very, like, straightforward. I'm an underwriter. It doesn't sound like it when I say I write books that are 120K, but, like, I am an underwriter. I don't have details or descriptions or, like, anything in the first draft. There's nothing there. So, yeah, I think those first 6 chapters will probably grow, but that's probably for another day. Anyway, yeah, I'm definitely still expanding the chapters past 1. I don't think any of the chapters have been 1-to-1 yet. Yes! Well, I'm gonna start releasing in August, and then every month I'm gonna do you know, another book until they're all done. But I'm hoping to have them all written before then, so I'm not still writing and publishing. Okay, we did the thing. Wrote 50,000 words, finished Camp NaNo, all the exciting things. I actually perfectly timed, got my package from the NaNoWriMo store yesterday, opened that, it was great. Cute things that I will be using in the future for NaNoWriMo projects. I need more NaNoWriMo swag, I guess. I mean, I always get, like, a t-shirt at the end of November, when I win, but I don't have enough cups and things to use during NaNoWriMo events when I'm drinking tea all the time. We just barely made it to England at 50,000 words, so what's next for Dusty's story is the Sherwood shenanigans, although her story is going to be more focused on her love story, which will be interesting for me because I enjoy reading a good love story, as long as it's not contemporary. I don't really enjoy contemporary romances for the most part. I like a good historical fiction one. I like a good, like, you know, classic Jane Eyre, Austen, Elizabeth Gaskell, you know. And I always have a romantic subplot in my stories. Almost always. There's rarely a time that I don't have one, but it's never really the main focus. But I feel like it needs to be the main focus for Dusty. And I'm feeling some kind of way about that. I don't know. So we'll see how that goes. I've been thinking I need to get a book On top of the book that I keep saying I'm going to read and I haven't yet, which is Seeking All of Finding Jesus, I think is what it was called. Anyway, I feel like I need to read a book, I think it's called Romancing the Beat, which takes the Save the Cat beats that I love so much and like it shows you how they work for a romance story. And I feel like I'm going to need that for the second half of this book. So, I don't know, stay tuned for that in the next vlog.